Chapter 21 2028 Zack looked up, and it took him a moment to get accustomed to the light. A man was looking down at him. He was stocky, wearing a guard's uniform, and there was a brass badge on his left breast pocket with the name Bob Stafford on it. "Okay, fella, take it easy now. I'm going to get you a blanket, and then I'm going to get some help. You stay here and rest." Zack struggled to move, weak and exhausted, and his chest hurt. Moments later, Bob came back with a blanket and laid it on top of Zack, tucking it in. "Just stay there. I won't be long." He pulled his mobile phone out of his pocket, typed in a number, and then left the room. Zack waited for a while, and as his eyes grew accustomed to the dark, he spotted he was still in the lab. Had something gone wrong? Why did the lab look the same? Who was the security guard? Was he the guy with the spotlight from that time when he first found the lab and climbed down the well? There were so many questions. He had to get out of there. Inside the lab, an orange beacon was flashing, and the lights were off. He pulled himself up, took the blanket off, and noticed that he had nothing covering his arms. Looking down, he was completely naked. He turned around and looked for the fibre jar. There wasn't even one there, just a large-sized DNA goo jar that was half full. Zack sat up, and his eyes started to focus properly. He waved his arms around to activate the lights. Nothing happened. This was very confusing. Why weren't the lights working? Where were his clothes? As he pondered the answers to these questions, he heard a crash of thunder, followed by some footsteps. The footsteps were quite close now, and the doors were opening and closing. He could now hear two distinct sets of feet, and a woman talking to someone. Why would they come in here? Should he hide? Who were they? Fearing it may be the woman who was in the back of the car, he needed to get out of here. He stepped off the table into something sticky, then fell over and banged his head. The door opened, and Zack, dazed and confused, watched as a torch beam flickered around the room. From the shadows, Zack saw the stocky security guard and a woman with long hair wearing a lab coat. "He was here, I swear. He was dead. I gave him CPR and brought him back," said the guard, flicking his torch around. "Well, he's not here now, Bull," said the woman with a softer, more relaxed voice. "I'll go to the generator room, and you stay here and lock the doors." He switched on his spare walkie-talkie and passed it to her. "Once I get there, I will let you know, and you can walk me through the reset procedure. Just press this and talk." "I have a PhD in physics. I'm pretty sure I can use a walkie-talkie," she said, smiling at Bull. "Of course, miss." He gave a thumbs up and walked out of the room. A few minutes passed, and a crackle came over Rhea's walkie-talkie. "I'm at the generator. Are you there?" Rhea pressed the button on the microphone and spoke into it. "Yes, Bull," replied Rhea, sitting on the chair next to the computer. "Okay, what do I do?" "You need to start by unlocking the cage door." A moment passed, and the speaker clicked again. "Done. What now?" "Good. Now you need to look at the front of the three-phase unit. There should be two banks of panels in front of you. You need to switch off all the switches." "Done." "Now, starting from the top, switch on the two master switches at the same time." "Okay, doing it now." "Now, switch on the left bank of switches from top to bottom." "All done. Do I do the same with the right switches too?" "Yes, from top to bottom," replied Rhea. As Bull flicked the switches, the capacitor room hummed. The security system activated, and the computers all booted up. Rhea tapped on a few keys, and the security cameras came online. Within seconds, banks of lights lit up the crypt hallway to the lab, and the lights flickered into life in the laboratory. She walked into the lab and looked straight at Zack. Like a frightened rabbit staring into headlights, he stared straight at her, not moving. The woman before him was approximately 5'6", wearing black-rimmed glasses, a lab coat and black trousers. The embroidery label on her coat said R. Mainbeck, lab assistant. He looked into her eyes. Red hair parted in a fringe at the front, and some wisps hung on either side, while the rest was swept back into the long plait he had seen earlier. Her perfect nose and freckles showed off the prettiest blue eyes. "Are you okay?" she asked softly, offering him a hand to get up. Zack sighed and stuck out his arm. As he got up, she realized his nakedness, and took off her lab coat, wrapping it around him, revealing her pink blouse and black trousers underneath. "My name is Rhea. What's your name?" "It's me, Zack," he said in disbelief. Had she forgotten who he was? "Do you know where you are?" she replied. "Infinity Labs." "And how did you get here?" "In the machine," he replied, curious why she was asking. Rhea paused for a moment and then helped him up to sit on the table. "What do you mean, from the machine?" she asked, with a confused look on her face. "I came to the lab and the professor helped me to come here. Can you tell me what the date is?" he asked. "Let me get this right. You know the professor? Do you know me? And you know this lab? And—" "I travelled in time," he replied, interrupting her. Sensing a potential threat, Rhea calmly walked over to the table and, with her back to Zack, picked something up. "Please put your arm out." Zack obliged, and Rhea took out a syringe and stuck him with it. Within seconds he collapsed, and she grabbed a specimen trolley from the specimen room. She could hear Bob's footsteps getting louder, and quickly bundled Zack onto the trolley, then wheeled it skillfully into the specimen room, covering him with a sheet. As Bob Stafford came into the lab, Rhea had already returned to the computer room and was typing on the keyboard as if nothing had happened. "Thanks, Bull. I just need to set up a few diagnostics, and then we can go back home." "This is where I saw him," he said, pointing at the sticky substance on the floor. "Strange. I have seen no one," replied the professor's assistant. "Is there anything else we need to do here, Rhea?" he asked. "Not really. I just need to set up a few checks. You can go back to your post. I'll call you if I need anything." "Okay. I will just do one last sweep on my way out." The lab door closed, and Rhea could hear Bob whistling as he walked along the corridor, checking each room as he went. Without hesitation, Rhea picked up the phone on the desk and pressed quick dial button number 1. "Uncle Eric, you've got to get down here. Something incredible has happened." "What's happened? Are you okay?" "I can't talk about it on the phone. Just get down here fast." She put the phone down.